you sit, I'm gonna just sneak behind you, so I don't
I
jostle you.
always had that problem with.
I don't wanna hit you. All right.
Thank you. Wait, I think you're down.
What is it?
Kathy Mulligan.
Okay, thank you. It's a mulligan.
I have to tell you a funny story.
Welcome to My One Number. If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. If you do not know your PIN, please enter pound or hash.
There's a state dinner in the city.
Please announce yourself.
He was there with this very attractive girl who's not his wife. Oh, I like it. And he says, yeah, it's the city. He's coming in.
I usually don't drink
This
the
was
same
her drinking.
She would make my other one
With
totally
Steve's
out of
group. It was Massapequa. One of the people, sitting down. She said she wants a wine. I says to Steve, can she have a wine? And he says, yeah, she's not drunk. It's okay. And, it's just like...
What's his last name again?
And she
Fitzpatrick?
says something, she calls him
Gerald
Dad.
Fitzpatrick.
It was his
Yeah, it's
daughter
right here.
that he brought. His wife
Yeah, it's
couldn't
here.
make it. But, I mean, that's how rumors start, because everybody... Yeah, that's how it started. Like I thought when she said, you're gonna, did you have a wine? What are you asking him?
other states.
Just that one case, anyway.
Pretty good. Thank you. Oh yeah, I can't eat. Eating is not. Are we ready?
He's coming in the next meeting. Oh, good. Next meeting.
Chair, or is he gonna?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Zoning Board of Appeals. Tonight, due to COVID restrictions, we only have applicants in the room. The residents will be watching on live stream. This meeting is live streamed, and due to COVID restrictions, we will be sanitizing the podium in between each applicant. If you are an applicant with more than one hearing on tonight, please be prepared when you come up to the podium to have all your hearings so we can do a little less sanitizing and more hearing. I would also like to mention that one of our members, Gerard Fitzpatrick, will be joining us tonight on the phone. He's not here in person, but he will be listening in. So tonight's hearings, he will be able to vote at the next meeting. Tonight's hearings will be voted on in 2 weeks at our next zoning board meeting on March 25th. This gives the residents at home who are watching time to weigh in, to send emails, or however they want to communicate with us based on what they hear tonight. I miss anything? Okay, could we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have any postponements tonight?
I'm reading, yes. You have any postponements? Oh, okay. Yes. Hearing number number 10, appeal number 2197, Richard and Helen Isley. Also, hearing number 20, appeal 21107, George Macchia. And finally, we have withdrawn holdover number 3, appeal number 2051, Mingguo Wu.
Okay.
All the,
Anybody here for any of those cases this evening? Let the record reflect no one is here for any of those cases. Thank you.
Okay, let's call the first hearing then.
Recall 1, appeal 2266, Patricia Wallace, at 12 Damon Drive, Farmingdale.
Promise to tell the truth during this proceeding?
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
Michael Palumba, architect, 80 Elizabeth Drive, Bethpage, New York, 11714. Madam Chairwoman, members of the board, I'm appearing on behalf of Patricia Wallace of 12 Damon Drive, Farmingdale, New York. We are requesting an amendment to the specific plan which was approved under decision number 20-266 and issued on August 20th, 2020, to be amended. Patricia Wallace recently sold this property and the new owners modified the existing deck. They were unaware that this work required permit and also would affect the permit which was already issued for the existing deck, which we are in the process of legalizing. The enlarged deck meets all the setbacks and coverage requirements and does not alter the original zoning board decision, which granted a variance for off-street parking and side and rear yard setbacks for an existing shed. The new owners are working with Patricia Wallace to have this matter corrected in order to obtain the necessary building department sign-offs and have the certificate of occupancy correctly issued, and that completes our application.
Any questions from the board?
No, I was to the property, and of course, everything's in the backyard. So
Yes.
you can't really see it.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission has been notified of this application.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for the next 2 weeks.
Understood.
Do you have any other hearings tonight?
No.
Good night. Oh, lucky
Have a good
you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.
Oh, I'm supposed to shut that.
Next is appeal 19540, David Milana at 24 Pine Road, Syosset.
Promise to tell the truth during these proceedings.
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
Scott Kahn, 68 West Main Street, Oyster Bay, New York. Good evening, Madam Chairwoman, members of the board. I'm here tonight representing the Milana family. We seek to amend specific plan variance 19-540. Overall, the project did not change except for the front porch. They would like to go from 5 feet to 6 feet in depth due to the owner's decision, wants a little more space. We have also reduced the second floor balcony, which basically didn't really have anything to do with this variance. The changes we're seeking to amend are minor in nature and wish the board would grant this request. I've listed in more detail the structural changes, and we've submitted them as an amendment, but for the record, I could submit that list to you as well.
What's happening with the second-story balcony?
It was reduced in size. It was made smaller than what we originally had planned.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission has been notified of this application.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of this hearing is over. The record will remain open for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Do you have any other cases on tonight? Oh,
Three more.
goody.
Okay. Which is the next one?
It's number 12, Tang.
Okay. That?
Yeah.
Hearing number 12, appeal number 2199, Zin Wang at 174 Plainview Road, Hicksville.
Once again, good evening. I'm here tonight representing the Wang Tang family, who seek two variances before you. Both variance requests are for the same structure. The Tangs purchased this home in September 2010, as it is now. They have made no improvements to it since. We would like to maintain the detached garage, which dates back to at least 1937. I found some paperwork I could submit, at 2.3 feet from the property line in lieu of the 3-foot required. We'd also like to maintain the existing 17.25-foot height. I know that's an issue. Remain in lieu of the 12-foot required by code. So I would like to just submit the information I found, and I also did a diagram, a Google Earth image of many other garages in the neighborhood. This is the older part of Plainview, and there are many, many garages that are over that 17-foot height. And I want to also submit the assessor's card from 1937 that shows the 20 by 20 garage that was built. So I printed a few of these to hand out as well. It would be a financial hardship, obviously, to have to change the structure on this roof, and it's been there for 83 years.
So if I may, Madam Chair.
Yes, I would love to hear what you have to say.
I just want to proceed with a little caution here. So first of all, it does appear that this home is a rental home. I mean, it's listed on multiple sites as a rental home. I'm not saying that the garage is being rented or used for space. I also noted that it's listed multiple places as a home daycare and that there was a violation issued by the state in December of 2020. So can you give us a little color before we grant a variance for this as to what's going on with that?
Yeah, I've been working with the son of the owner. They don't speak very good English, but the parents live in this house. It's not used as a daycare, and it's not, as far as I know, it's not a rental. They bought this house in September of 2010.
Okay. So there's no violation by the state as to any type of a daycare that's being run out of the house?
Not that I know of at this point, no.
Okay.
It's the county card.
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
So the garage is just being used as a garage?
Yes, and the upper portion is an unfinished attic space.
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you.
The next number of your case?
13.
13, okay.
Go, sir.
Hearing number 13, Appeal 21-100, Goldie Gatra at 750 South Oyster Bay Road in Hicksville.
Good evening once again. I'm here tonight representing the Gotra family who seek to amend specific plan 19-231. Originally, we had
You have one
proposed a
already?
detached
Okay.
shed and carport with a roof over off the shed. Gross floor area was 5,105 square feet. This variance was granted but never built. The owner has changed their minds and would forego the shed and carport, but wishes to build an enclosed normal garage structure. This request would actually slightly decrease our FAR to 4,950 at 155 square feet added to the request, deducted from the request, rather. So we've reduced the request on our past variance, which was granted, and now we're just seeking to build a standard 2-car garage.
Okay, I have correspondence here from a neighbor who has no objection to this variance. She lives at 754 South Oyster Bay Road.
Yeah, it's a beautiful home that he built there, and he maintains it very well.
Okay. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you after we vote in 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Last
one?
Another case?
22.
22, okay. Hearing number 22, Appeal number 21-109, Dequi Lu at 65 Mary Lane in Jericho.
I like this way of doing things. I like this way of doing things.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. They don't.
Good evening once again. I'm here tonight representing the Liu family who seek a variance to build a deck with less than the required average front yard setback allowed by town ordinance. The deck we're proposing is only 26 inches above grade and creates no visual disturbance in this corner yard. There's no visibility issues. Being a corner lot, this is the only practical place to put such a deck. The property is buffered with a hedgerow lane on Hedgerow Lane and Merry Lane with tall arborvitaes. This deck, if allowed, will not even be visible from the street. Also, this is a very common deck in the neighborhood on these front-to-back split-level homes in Jericho.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you.
Thank you so much.
You have one more, or are we done? We're done.
Why don't you take those back with you to your seat?
Okay. Next is hearing number 1, Appeal 2188, Josephine and Michael Salerno, 9 Meadow Road, Massapequa Park.
I do.
Name and address, please.
Thank you. Good evening, members of the board, Madam Chair. My name is Mark Anthony Monastery, architect. My office is located 1563 Belmore Avenue in Belmore, and today I'm representing my clients, Mr. and Mrs. Salerno. They are the owners and occupants of 9 Meadow Road, Massapequa, which is located in R17 zone. This evening, we're requesting variances to allow my clients to construct a new rear deck, which would be partially covered, and running from the rear slider up to the partially around the existing semi-in-ground pool. The covered deck would consist of an outdoor kitchen, an eating area, and a lounge area around a masonry fireplace. My clients, like many homeowners, purchased the semi-in-ground pool last year, knowing that they would be working from home during the COVID pandemic. After the installation of the pool, they decided they would like to extend the existing rear deck to connect the pool so my clients would be closer and can safely and more comfortably watch their children in the pool. Our request is to reduce the rear yard setback from 25 to 5.36 to the proposed deck, 5.72 to the existing pool, and 8.37 feet to the proposed bar counter. These setback requests are because the deck and pool are now connected to the house and being treated as one structure. We would also like to reduce the side yard setback from the required 8 feet to 5.29 feet. This is a reduction of 2.71 feet. Reduce the aggregate side yard from the required 20 feet to 13.13 feet, a reduction of 6.87 feet. And lastly, we'd like to increase the lot coverage from the maximum permitted of 25 to 27.76, an increase of 2.76 feet. I would like to submit 5 of the surrounding neighbors' approval letters to the board for their approval. That's okay. And that pretty much concludes our case.
How high is the deck?
It's 4, 5 steps up, so it's a little over, it's about 3.5 feet up.
Do you have the consent from that rear neighbor?
Yes.
And the one next door because of, you know?
All the surrounding neighbors attached.
There are 5 consents there.
Yes, ma'am. So the deck actually comes off even with the slider off of the first floor, and then there's a step down where it comes, sorry about that, where it comes around the pool.
Okay. All right, any questions from the board?
I mean, obviously, neighbors are okay with it.
So the Salernos have been there for a while and are very friendly in the neighborhood, and it's kind of a gathering place for them. They had one of those Intech pools in the backyard, and all the surrounding neighbors would always come there, and that was part of why they actually wound up doing this. They realized it was the gathering house. It's something similar to that I grew up into. So yes, the neighbors are excited for it, to say the least.
That's good to hear.
I would be too. All right, Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office, but the record will remain open for the next 2 weeks.
Thank you all. Have a great night.
You too, thank you.
No other cases, correct?
No, ma'am. Easy night.
Next is appeal number 2189. It's hearing number 2. Karen Lenz at 38 Greatwater Avenue, Massapequa.
I do.
Name and address, please.
Gregory Mindel, 2 Blacksmith Road, Levittown, New York. Appearing for the owner, Karen Lenz, of 38 Greatwater, Massapequa, New York. Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. We're here this evening requesting permission to install an in-ground swimming pool having less than required side yard setback and rear yard setback than required by ordinance. This is a very small pool in size due to the nature of the property. The proposed pool is 10 foot in depth by approximately 16 foot 8 inches in width, probably the smallest pool I've ever filed for. The property is located in an R110 zone. We'd be required to maintain a 10-foot side yard and a 10-foot rear yard. This property is 40 by 100. The house maintains, to the foundation, 24.66-foot rear yard setback. It's actually cantilevered on the second floor, reducing that to 22.66. So the proposed pool is to be located 5 foot from the rear yard for a reduction of 5 foot, and 6 foot from the side yard on the north side for a reduction of 4 foot, whereas we'd be required to maintain a 10-foot side yard. The property is surrounded by a 6-foot high PVC fence. Some of the neighbors have shrubs. I've given you a panel of photographs in which you can actually see the rear yard. Standing from in front of the shed towards the north side yard, you can see the location of where the pool would be. And then standing on the north side yard towards the shed, you can see the neighbor has a pergola structure in the backyard. There's some evergreen shrubs back there. Additionally, the pool filter would be located in the north side yard. That side yard is 5.06 foot. We maintain a fence, 6-foot high PVC in that north side yard. The proposed pool filter will be located in that side yard. If approved, would maintain a 3-foot side yard setback. That's adjacent to the neighbor's house, where they do not actually have any windows in that side yard. You can see the second panel of photographs taken of the side yard where the AC units are located. The AC units will be enclosed further by a 6-foot high PVC fence, which will further obstruct them from the neighbor's house. There's only one window on that north side property line from the neighbor towards the AC units and proposed fence area, and that's a non-operable window. Additionally,
Consents? Do you have any consents from the neighbor?
they did not go out of the house. That's part of getting a pool, is they don't want to actually leave the property and go around the neighborhood. The home also maintains 2 AC units, as you can see in the photographs. They'll be further enclosed by a 6-foot high PVC fence. One is a mini split, and one is a small standard type air conditioner. Again, the neighbor has no windows except for one window that's up high, and it's a non-operable window. There's never been any complaints or objections to the maintenance of these AC units. Sometime after the house was built in 1977, someone installed them, and that brings us before the board today. The property's maintained in excellent condition. I would like to add that additionally, there are 3 properties located just outside the radius, 56 Peconic, 43 South Bay, and 97 South Bay, that all, we believe, maintain a substandard side yard, rear yard setback for the pool in this R110 zone. That's essentially our case.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed, and decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too, thank you.
No more cases tonight.
Nope, that's it. Good night.
Good night.
Next is hearing number 3, Appeal 2190, April Claus at 90 Baltimore Avenue, Massapequa.
Tell the truth during these proceedings?
I do.
Name and address, please.
Dina Byrne, 5 Renville Court, Mill Neck, New York, 11765.
Looks very disinfected over there.
Oh, gosh. Barely see you, but it's good, it's good. Good evening, members of the board. I'm here representing the owners, April Klaus of 90 Baltimore Avenue in Massapequa, also known as Section 52, Block 177, Lot 502, located in an R17 Residence District. The property measures 60 by 100 and is currently improved with a single-family dwelling with extensions and a detached garage. It currently maintains a side yard of 5.8 feet and an aggregate of 12.9 feet. The owner is proposing a renovation that comprises of a second-story addition with interior alterations, a new front portico, and a new roof line over the remaining one-story area.
Looks just like them.
The proposed second-story addition would maintain the existing side yards of 5.8 feet and the aggregate side yard of 12.9 feet. The proposed portico will exceed the permitted building coverage of 25%, proposing to maintain the current building coverage of 32.08%. The addition proposed to this home will comply with all other zoning regulations mandated by the R17 Residence District. The purpose of the addition is to obtain 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and a laundry on the second floor, permitting Mrs. Klaus and her family to live more comfortably. The product of the renovation will be a very appealing traditional 2-story colonial that will fit very well within the character of the neighborhood. And as you walk through, you'll see there's many homes that were expanded similarly. We submitted to the board, for the board's consideration, 4 consent letters offered by their neighbors directly affected by the renovation of the house. Those are house numbers 88 and 92 Baltimore, which are the abutting neighbors to the east and west of the subject property, and the house numbers 89 and 97 Baltimore, which are the 2 houses across the street facing our property. Mrs. Klaus and her family love the neighbors and the neighborhood that they live in, but require this additional space for their family to live comfortably. We feel that the variances requested are very minor in kind and are mainly capitulated by the current setbacks of the existing home, which was developed with no prior setback or building coverage variances.
And I know one of the neighbors sent a very nice letter in favor of it.
Yes, thank you. That concludes our application.
Any other questions from the board?
No, I've been to the house, and it's a small ranch, and all the other houses have dormers on them.
Yes.
So it was very nice of the neighbors to send letters in
Yes.
for approval.
Agreed.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for the next 2 weeks until we vote on it, and then a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Next is hearing number 4, Appeal 2191, Dawn Catalano at 17 Hastings Road, North Massapequa.
Good evening.
Promise to tell the truth during these proceedings.
I did.
Name and address, please.
Chris Cardolano, 17 Hastings Road, Massapequa, New York, 11758. Here for an application to maintain 2 existing sheds, a gazebo, and a fence. Everything has been, the fence was put up over 20 years ago. It's set back from the street over 20 feet. It is past the front of the house. On here, it says maintaining a 6-foot fence. It's actually a 5-foot fence. I don't know if that matters. The one shed is just a Rubbermaid shed that I bought at Home Depot. It's not sitting on anything permanent. The gazebo is not bolted down either. I just supplied all the information to the building department, asked me for that. And the other one shed is covered by a large tree, and there's a 6-foot fence around that.
Where's the 5-foot fence?
I don't have a 6-foot fence across the front of the house. The 6-foot fence is in the back of the house. The fences
Okay.
across the front are only 5 foot tall. I know it's supposed to be 4 foot, so I don't know if it matters, but
Well, I'm not seeing it on the survey.
I have it right here. The plot plan that was,
Where am I seeing 5-foot fence? Where's the 5-foot fence? Yeah. Well, a 5-foot fence in the front of the house would not be legal.
right, I understand, that's what I'm saying. Actually, the one over here that they're debating is only a 4-foot fence. I don't know why that's written as a 6.
Well, I suggest you reconcile that with the building department because it's gonna cause you a problem when you try and finalize all of this.
Right, isn't that what the variance
We
is
can't
for?
do that here, because you did not apply for a 5-foot fence in the front, so we can't even entertain it.
I'm applying for a 6-foot, it says a 6-foot fence is on the application.
And but then you're saying what's there is a 5-foot fence.
is.
Well,
You submitted the plot plan saying 6-foot then.
I guess the expedited it, so it has to be,
That was what they submitted.
yeah, I mean, if we can grant you a 6-foot fence, and if it's 5, I guess it's 5, you know, it's
Yeah.
better than if we granted you a 5-foot fence and then it was 6, then you'd have a real problem.
correct.
All right. Any questions from the board? None. Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Public record will remain open for 2 weeks, and then a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Next is hearing number 5, Appeal 2192, Brad Forster, at 6 Hastings Roads, North Massapequa.
Promise to tell the truth during these proceedings?
Yes.
Name and address, please.
Tim Jordan at 9 Flamingo Drive, Smithtown, New York. Here today representing Brad and Nicole Foster from 6 Hastings Road in, I'm just looking for my glasses. There they are. In North Massapequa. Good evening. We're here today seeking variances for a proposed second-story and 2-story additions with a roofed-over patio and, roofed-over porch, as well as a rear deck. Currently, the way this is proposed, it is not meeting the GFA requirements or the height requirements. They are currently a family of 3 when they bought the house in 2010. They had 1 child. The bedrooms are used up, and they need room to entertain.
Is there any way to make the height comply?
Well, we did try to do that. Unfortunately, there are several different grades. We did modify it and brought the ceiling heights down, and unfortunately, we made the average grade to where it's supposed to be at the 28 feet, but at the lowest point of the grade to the highest point of the ridge is where it went past, exactly 1 foot 2 inches. But all the, when we did the modification, we were under the impression that the average grade was what was going to be determined.
As far as the GFA goes, they're over, let's see, worth 216 square feet, where if you look at the plot plan, the roofed-over patio in the back almost takes care of that on its own. So we're looking at it, it's, de minimis on the gross floor area. We did everything that we could. We realized that the height variances are not popular variances.
No, they're not.
But when they originally proposed this, they had 10-foot-high ceilings. They went down to 8-foot ceilings on the second floor and a 9-foot on the first floor. They are proposing a great room with a dining room and a kitchen. So they have adequate space to entertain. Really, it's the unevenness of the grade that has made it impossible to modify it to comply.
What are you thinking, Lou?
I looked at it and the side yard shed said that it would be removed. Has that been removed yet? No, the shed is still there.
I think it's still there. They are
Once
to,
they start construction, that will be removed.
yes, they will.
So it's the variations in the grade that have caused it.
Yeah. And as I mentioned, by bringing it down on the ceiling heights of the first and second floor, we were able to at least achieve the 28-foot max using the average grade calculation.
All right. Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks, and then a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Our chairwoman is recovering from knee surgery, so
Go me.
really, everybody should stand every time you stand.
Hearing number 7, Appeal 2194, Dawn and Marco Ribeiro.
I think you missed one.
No, 6. Oh, I'm sorry, 6, I'm sorry. Hearing number 6, Appeal 2193, Michael Charney, at 13 North Pine Street, North Massapequa.
Proper substitute on these proceedings?
Yes, I do.
Name and address, please.
Paul Baroka, 147 Glen Street, Glen Cove, New York, 11542. Good evening, Madam Chairman and members of the board. I'm here tonight representing Michael Charney of 13 North Pine Street, Massapequa, New York, who's looking for a variance for a proposed 6-foot-high fence exceeding the permitted maximum height across the side yard, front yard fence of over 4 feet, height being maintained in a 25-foot setback from the front property line. And also that the existing driveway does not have a minimum side yard setback of 8 feet. We're proposing a 6-foot fence beginning on the southwest corner of the dwelling, running 23 feet, west to the point, thence running 70 feet, north to the point, north property line, thence running 23 feet east to connecting to the compliant fence. And the driveway description, the driveway has 0.8 feet from the side yard setback. I have here some items just to show for distribution to the board, some pictures. And I'd like to, regarding the fence, and the fence issue, a little blow up here of the neighborhood, which kind of shows, that you have around 8 properties on corners around that whole area with similar fencing situations that we're asking for.
Okay.
Looking at, I think we're maintaining a similar character and type of aspect that's been going on in the existing neighborhood. Giving you these aerial views to kind of show from an angular view, those fences and those corner lots, and that they've been kind of encompassing something similar to what we're encompassing and proposing to encompass today. And it's also a fence that's to protect the pool area that was just put in as under a building permit for the proposed in-ground pool. Yeah.
I was there, and I am concerned about, question to you, how far away is the fence from the sidewalk?
The proposed fence from the sidewalk, it's, the way it's shown on the diagram here, appears to be maintaining, I'd say about 2 feet from the property line, and from the back of the sidewalk, I'd estimate it between 4 to 5 feet.
Okay, because there's an existing 6-foot chain link fence. In other words, there was a chain link fence which you removed, the 3-foot.
Right.
But there's a 6-foot one that goes across the property. Will the fence, the new fence, start there?
The new fence, the way it's proposed on the drawing,
Will it marry up?
it'll be matching into, it'll be a little bit before, it'll be forward of that by a couple of feet.
Okay, because your neighbor's driveway is there, and they have 2 cars, so the chain link fence allows, there's no sight issue if it started there. If it's,
Yeah, I see what you're talking about here in the aerial, yes.
the block is loaded with kids. It was bicycles, scooters, carriages, strollers. It was I mean, great neighborhood. But I really am concerned about that fence, and I understand the built-in pool has to be enclosed, and they need that side yard for privacy, that fence.
We'd have no problem beginning the fence where you suggested at the, where the chain link fence ends.
That would be perfect, then there would be no sight issue.
Yes, we would have no problem putting it in that position if we were granted the rest of the variance.
Would you resubmit that to the zoning board, please, during the week?
A new drawing?
Just a new drawing showing where you're going to start the fence.
Okay, we can do that, absolutely.
Thank you.
No problem.
So would the fence actually be similar to the one that's on the corner of North Pine and Road in terms of the setback?
The existing fence? Yes.
The one that you're putting in,
The one that we're putting in will be similar to the setback that you have now.
the setback, right?
Okay. Any other questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing number 7, Appeal 2194, Dawn and Marco Ribeiro at 10 Trousher Lane, Bethpage.
Proper subject of these proceedings?
I do.
Name and address?
Daniel Burko, architect, P.O. Box 610, Lindenhurst, New York, 11757. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Ribeiro family, 10 Trousher Lane in Bethpage. It's a R17 zone. We filed for a proposed garage conversion and basement legalization, and it turns out that the driveway that they built in 2018 did not have a permit. It is .25 feet, which is 4 inches off the side property line. I would like to hand up an aerial photo. Just shows that 3 of the 6 houses in that court had a similar condition. And therefore, if I also didn't have the driveway, I'd be in front of the board for a reduction in off-street parking, because I would only be able to get 1 spot.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Oh, I said if we didn't have the 2-car driveway, I'd be in front of the board for a reduction in off-street parking.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any questions?
Just how close is that driveway actually to the adjacent neighbor?
To the other neighbor's driveway is 12 feet.
12 feet away?
Yeah, there's it starts at 12, it goes to about 8, because the properties are all pie-shaped over there. So, there's no fences or anything in the side yards.
Okay, any other questions from the board?
No.
Sorry.
Okay.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks, and then a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you.
Thank
Feel
you.
better.
Thank you.
Hearing number 8, Appeal 2195, John Holzer at 36 Friendly Lane in Hicksville.
Yes, ma'am. Chris Gray, architect, 2401 Capri Place, representing, 2401 Capri Place, North Belmont, New York. Trying to get in a hurry. Representing John Holzer, located at 36 Friendly Road, Hicksville, New York. Good evening. My client had installed a shade structure in the backyard of his home, and without realizing that, to Mr. Holzer's defense, he had contacted the building department and asked if a permit was necessary, and he was told it was not, so there was some kind of miscommunication. So had he known, he would have done so. This was revealed by a previous grant. We were before the board a few years ago for an extension to his home and a shed and whatnot. The last hearing, we exceeded the building coverage, and then here we are again tonight. This particular shade structure of 139 square feet will raise the building coverage to 28.9%, where 25 is permitted in the R17 zone. That is my case.
So it meets the height requirements. Yeah. All right.
This happens to be in his backyard is the southern exposure, so I'm sure it's quite hot in the summertime. So a little spot for get a piece of shade.
Any other questions from the board? No. Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Excuse me, may I hand in 2 cards?
Of course.
Before the case is closed.
The public portion of, you said correspondence, right? We did that? Okay. Public portion of the hearing is closed, and the record will remain open for 2 weeks, though. And we will vote on March 25th, and a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you. Good night. Number 9, Lou. And call it.
Hearing number 9, Appeal 2196, Joan Kelly at 19 Smith Street, Hicksville.
I do.
Name and address, please.
Peter Cinquemani, architect. Address is 75 Albertson Avenue, Albertson, New York, 11507. I'm here tonight on behalf of the Kellys. We're looking for a variance to maintain a second-story dormer. It was built in the late 70s. The house now, as it sits, is pre-existing non-conforming, so when they built the dormer, it happens to not meet the front and side yard setbacks.
Okay. Any questions from the board?
No, I took a look at it. I mean, it is appropriate for what else is on the block. It wasn't glaringly.
Didn't stand out.
Not at all.
There you go. Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed, and decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you.
Hearing number 11, Appeal 2198, Jay Shaw at 50 Garden Boulevard, Hicksville.
Good evening.
I
do.
Name and address, please.
My name is Helen Bogdanos. I'm a structural engineer. My office is 121 New Bridge Road, Hicksville, New York, 11801. I'm here on behalf of Mrs. and Mrs. Shah. They are having a small house now, one level, and they're planning of doing a second floor. And it's R17, but the fact that is the site, we're building on the same footprint, so we don't change the footprint of the house. But it was already variance on the aggregate and side yard, so I'm going to read through the minor variances that they were created. Proposed front steps do not have the minimum required average front yard setback of 26.6 feet, proposing 19.25 feet front yard setback to steps. Proposed second story cantilever addition does not have the minimum required side yards again, setback of 8 feet or an aggregate of 20 feet. Proposed is 6'7" and side yard, and aggregate is 17.5, which was, we didn't change the footprint again. It was already from before. Encroachment on eaves and gutters. Proposed second story cantilever addition does not have the minimum required roof pitch of 6 to 12. Proposed is 4 to 12. Proposed second story cantilever addition front porch and second story deck exceed maximum permitted building coverage of 25% allowable. We have a 29.29 building coverage. And proposed second story addition and second story deck exceed maximum permitted gross floor area of allowable of 3,272.75 square feet. The proposing is 3,374.5 square feet gross floor area, which is a minor, is not a substantial gross floor area change. And it was a prior zoning board of appeals decision, 86-379, to erect an addition with less side yards and aggregate yards, so same scenario. We have, all the neighbors are in favor of that. I included the radius map and must be I have about 7, I believe. All the adjacent people, they have no objection of the, yeah.
Thank you.
I marked on the radius map.
And I will say I was there. I mean, 2 houses down, both up, just like.
Yeah, all over.
Really, like all.
It was a small house, the family got, bigger and whatever. Now, we're doing the second floor, but it creates all those issues, as you know.
All right, any other questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks, and at that time, a decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you very much. Have a
Thank you.
nice
Good night.
evening.
Hearing number 14, Appeal 21-101, Kamal Karana at 19 Friendly Road, Hicksville.
Could you raise your right hand, please? Promise to tell the truth during these proceedings?
I do.
Your name and address, please?
Kamal Khurana, 19 Finney Road, Hicksville, New York, 11821.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, Madam Chairman and everybody.
Good evening.
So I'm here for the variance for the maintained portico. I had filed a permit for the interior alteration, and while doing the interior alteration, I requested the architect to look at to if he can build. So he said just to check the setbacks, and he said we can build, but I guess he was wrong when he filed the application. By the time we have, half built on there, they rejected, and they said it is beyond the setbacks. It says that the proposed setback was 26.6 feet, but the required is 33.7 feet. And it's half built, so we stopped it in between, so requesting to complete.
Okay. I have a letter here from a neighbor at 58 Alexander Avenue,
Yeah.
who has no problem with this. I just want to get that on the record.
I just wanted to ask about the staircase, because the original variance for the parent-child was granted conditioned upon the second-story deck being removed.
No, it's there. It was, we're using as for ourselves. There's nothing like the mother-daughter permit is.
No, I understand that, but the mother-daughter permit was granted, it was granted in a contingency. The contingency was that those stairs were supposed to be removed. And it doesn't look to me like those stairs
No,
were
I was not aware, because when I bought the property, it was never told to us or never informed that this is contingent. The only thing I have is the fence, which, like this says that, when we applied for the variance for this one, it says 0785, that I had to apply for the permit for the fence also, which I applied for that as well.
So there's no parent-child?
No.
What kind of door, did you be able to see what kind of door was up on?
No, it's just, it's a very high staircase to the deck. It's like two, but if it's not being used as a parent-child, maybe that doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't.
So,
What kind of doors on the second floor deck? Do you have sliding doors?
Sliding.
Okay. All right, any other questions from the board?
None.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks until we vote, and at that time, the decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you. Can it be forwarded to the other address, because I haven't moved in yet, it's still like in the process?
You have to take that up with the office.
Okay, all right,
I'll give you my card,
Sure.
contact me with the information, okay?
all right. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
Give the office.
Hearing number 15, Appeal 21-102, John Sliger at 7 Serpentine Lane, Old Bethpage.
Good evening, Robert Schumacher, 11, oh, sorry, yes, I do. Robert Schumacher, 1109, Round Swamp Road, Old Bethpage. Good evening, I'm representing John Sliger of 7 Serpentine Lane in Old Bethpage. Have some photos and consent letters I'd like to turn into the board. Mr. and Mrs. Sliger are seeking a variance for a proposed in-ground pool and equipment having less side yard and rear yard and front yard setback and side yard setback. This property is located in the R110 district, requiring a 10-foot rear and side yard setback to the pool, and the homeowners are proposing a 7-foot side yard setback and a rear yard setback of 5 feet. The pool equipment will be going on the side, maintaining a 3-foot side yard setback and a 51-foot front yard setback where 60 feet is required. There is fencing around the rear of the property. The pool and the pool equipment will not be seen from the street. The neighbor most affected by this variance, the abutting neighbor at 9 Serpentine Lane, has signed a letter of consent. Directly behind the homeowner's property is a schoolyard, and that is also fenced. There is a paver patio in the rear of the property. This is the most practical place for the location of the pool. The pool has not been installed. The homeowners are anxious to use the pool for this season.
It's basically right adjacent to all that school.
I stood on the brick fireplace and took a picture over the fence, and it's just a big field.
I see that. Yeah. Any questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. A decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office. You have another case on tonight?
16, 17, and 18.
Oh.
Go together. All together.
Oh, that's the,
Yeah. Hearing number 16, Appeal 21-103, hearing 17, Appeal 21-104, and hearing 18, Appeal 21-105, and it is the Roman Catholic Church of St. Pius X at Washington Avenue in Plainview.
Robert Schumacher, for the record, 1109 Round Swamp Road, Old Bethpage. I'm representing the Roman Catholic Church of St. Pius on Washington Avenue between Presidential Drive and the Bethpage Parkway in Plainview. On the disclosure that I submitted to the Board of Appeals, I'm the applicant for the hearing, and I'm also in contract to purchase the north end of this property. With me this evening is Mr. Barry Nelson, a licensed real estate appraiser, who's been before this board many times as an expert witness. This application is a 3-lot subdivision, maintaining the church with the school and the rectory, and proposing 2 new single-family homes on the north end of the property. The existing church and buildings on the south end of the property, there will be no construction at all. Nothing is changing on these buildings. The only construction will be on the north end of the parcel, where there's an existing building that is no longer being used by the church. On that section of the property, that building will be demolished, and 2 new homes are proposed on that site. In regard to parcel C, this is the remaining church and building. Again, there'll be no construction on this site. The setbacks on the existing buildings will not be changing. The parking space in the existing drive aisle will not be changing. In regard to parcel B, this is the middle parcel. This is for a proposed new home. These are colonial-style homes with an attached garage, no cellar entrances. The zoning is R120. This parcel is proposing a width at the street of 94.23 feet with 100 feet required. That's the only variance that's required on this parcel. In regard to parcel A, this is the most northern parcel. This is considered a corner property as it abuts the Bethpage Parkway Greenbelt area and Washington Avenue. This land belongs to New York State. It's a Greenbelt Park-like area. It was earmarked for the extension of the Bethpage Parkway and was never developed. The proposed home is requiring a 50-foot side yard setback, rear yard setback, and proposing a 47-foot rear yard setback. This setback is due to the fact that the property angles back in the rear, and this abuts the Bethpage Parkway, no neighbor's house. The property is heavily wooded in the rear. This will remain wooded. There is only one abutting residential home near the proposed new house, and that's the property located at 5 Presidential Drive. I submitted a copy of their survey and a site plan highlighted showing where their rear property will be in conjunction with the proposed new home. There is a 6-foot fence around the rear of their property. I met with these homeowners and I discussed the application with them. I also provided them with a copy of the proposed site plan, a rendering of the home, and their concern was the noise from the construction. Their residence is more than 400 feet away from the new homes to be built. I also spoke with the neighbors at 1 Presidential Drive and 3 Presidential Drive. These are the neighbors abutting the church property where no construction will be taking place and there will be no changes. I explained this to them that the north end of the church property is further away from them. The existing building is no longer in use. It's not on the tax roll. 2 new homes will be put on the tax roll, and it'll be a very attractive addition to the neighborhood. They do meet the required front yard setback, side and agger setback, meet the required lot coverage and gross floor area, and the required height. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Nelson. If the board has any question of me, I'd be glad to answer them.
Basically, the architectural drawing that we have is similar to the homes on Washington Avenue.
Yes. Many colonial similar to this type of house. Mr. Nelson, to you.
I do.
Name and address, please.
It's Barry Nelson, 220 Pettit Avenue, Belmore, New York, 11710. Good evening. I handed in some exhibits that include photographs of the subject property from Washington Avenue. It'll include the church, the northerly portion where the proposed houses will be situated, the state lands, which is would be the Bethpage State Parkway buffer area, residences on Presidential Drive East. In my opinion, they fairly and accurately represent the subject property and the surrounding area. The second exhibit will include a location map and aerial views of the subject property that will include where the proposed 2 new homes would be set forth. The application is a very reasonable application before this board. The most northerly portion of the property for parcels A and B would be 2 new colonials. The most northerly parcel would be on a lot 20,617 square feet. Parcel B, which would be the middle one, would be 25,157 square feet. Between the 2 homes proposed, frontage for those 2 houses will be 208.8 feet. But because of the configuration and because of the most northerly parcel being technically a parcel that's a corner, and the irregular rear portion of the property, the subdivision line yields 114.57 feet for the northerly house, 94.23 feet on the southerly side. But between the 2 of them combined, you have over 100 feet. I mean, over 200 feet. The front yard, or the width of lot, in my opinion, is not going to have any negative impact to the residential community or the state lands. How do I come up with that opinion? On my photographs, you'll see the last page would be the Nassau County Department of Assessment tax map for the subject block, Section 13, Block 108. And you'll see within the development of Presidential Drive East and Presidential Drive South, there are bends in the road where the parcels, and there are numerous ones, at least 6 on Presidential Drive East and South, that have frontages a lot less than what is being proposed in today's application. Just to the south, off of Washington Avenue, is Ann Court, and just further south, off of Washington Avenue, is Kennedy Drive, and then you have another court with parcels that have frontages of less than 100 feet. So this is in the subject block. If we look at Washington Avenue, where the houses are proposed. You have the church to the south, and you have the state lands to the west. You have the state lands to the north and to the east. So the parcel with the deficient frontage has the oversized excess lands, and the parcel with the rear yard setback variance would be the most northerly one with the oversized frontage, and that's 3 feet short of what's required, and it's to the buffer of natural lands, which are heavily treed. The Washington Avenue is a north-south, northeast, southwest direction. You have residences all along. All municipal services are available to the site. The parcel that might be the most affected would be on the northeast side of Presidential Drive East, and that would be 5 Presidential Drive East. In my photographs, you will see I've taken pictures of the rear of the subject property, and there's a substantial incline, so that parcel is a lot higher than the subject property, probably about 10 to 12 at least feet higher than the subject parcel at that location. And they have along the rear property line, a 6-foot PVC fencing. So there's going to be no impact to that resident for 2 new dwellings at that location, and 2 new dwellings along Washington Avenue where there are houses. The houses on the west side, just to the south, back up to Washington Avenue. Further south, you have houses that front onto Washington Avenue. The church itself will remain on a smaller, let's just go back to where the proposed houses are proposed. There is a 2-story masonry, I guess maybe it was former rectory, convent center. That building hasn't been used in many years. That building will be coming down for the 2 new houses. That building has, and I don't have a survey on it, but I estimated roughly a footprint of about 5,500 square feet, 10,000 square feet in gross building area above grade. That'll be removed from that location for the 2 new dwellings. So you're taking down approximately 10,500 square feet of building area and putting up 2 colonials with front yard setbacks, rear yard, that would only be 3 feet on the northerly parcel, and complying with side yard and side yard aggregates with adequate on-site parking. Again, this parcel is entirely owned by the church. It's fully tax exempt. The new colonials would have estimated real estate taxes, and I'm only estimating them now, we can't tell you what's going forward, of approximately $25,000 to $30,000 for each house.
Seems low.
Wow.
I don't want to kill the builder, but it might be. You might be 100% right. But it will, now, those 2 parcels will come back onto the tax rolls. This church benefits by the sale. They need money for the rest of the property, but it's my opinion it's a reasonable request before the board for the subdivision and the minor variances. The northerly parcel, the only variance sought is 3 feet for the rear yard setback, no impact to any of the residences. The middle parcel would be the front width, and it's not going to impact anybody along at that location. The church itself requires some area variances. Those variances, remember, we're taking down over a 10,500 square foot building on the property. It is non-conforming to lot area occupied and gross building area as it's situated. We're taking down the 2-story masonry, brick and masonry building for 2 new dwellings, putting that part of the property back on the tax rolls. And now the church property requires variances for lot area occupied and gross building area, as well as some setbacks. The setbacks for the parking would be at the subdivision line, and the only impact, if anything, would be the new house that would be going up on parcel 2. Otherwise, it's my opinion, it's not going to impact to the residences on Presidential Drive East, any of the homes on Washington Avenue, or across the street to Colonial Gate. I believe I've addressed what's pertinent in this application, the variances that are sought for each parcel, and in my opinion, the granting this application is not going to alter or change the essential character of the neighborhood. We're taking down a 2-story brick and concrete building for 2 new colonials. Colonials are the typical house found along the Washington Colonial Street. Presidential Drive are more of a contemporary type design built in the late 1980s, but there are colonial layouts, and they do have approximately 4,000 square feet in each one with 2-car garages. Thank you.
Mr. Schumacher, are you going to come back up and speak on this application?
Only if the board has any questions.
I have a comment. If you wouldn't mind coming back up, Mr. Schumacher. I heard you say in the beginning that you had gotten some correspondence from neighbors or neighbor regarding construction.
I spoke to 2 neighbors to the south, abutting the church property in the rear, explained where the location was. And I spoke to the neighbor most affected, which Mr. Nelson also mentioned, and I submitted a survey of their property. I met with them at their house. I gave them a site plan, the surveys, and a rendering of the drawings, and they wanted to walk the property, and we had an appointment for Saturday, and they canceled it on me, and I haven't heard back. They said they would call back, but their concern was the noise from the construction, but these proposed renovations will be more than 400 feet away from their house. Their property alone is 400 feet deep, and these properties are to the west near Washington Avenue.
Okay.
Temporary, yes.
That was going to be my comment, that, you know, there are factors that we consider in granting variances, and noise from construction is temporary. The building department has rules and regulations as to when construction can start and finish. So I just wanted to put that on the record, that it is not a consideration of this board.
The basic design that you're proposing, the architectural drawings would be right in line with the community in general.
They'll fit right in.
And in fact, there's tremendous demand for it. I mean, people wait.
Oh, yeah.
Lou, you can back me up on this. People wait for years to get houses on Washington Avenue.
The desirable area,
Country estates now.
they'll get double the house, then country. And the backyards will be wooded. They will not be cleared. That's part of the requirements of the building department. The back part of the property has to be wooded. So there's a big buffer there.
Okay.
Best of my knowledge, that property's been owned by the church for more than 50 years, and I don't ever remember any problem with the community.
No, they're good neighbors.
Yeah.
That's.
All right, any
I
other
had-
questions from the board?
No.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission has been notified of this application.
Motion?
Decision?
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks, and then we will forward you a decision at that time.
Thank you. I have the next hearing also.
Yep.
Hearing number 19, Appeal 21-106. It is James Brennan at 85 Elmwood Street in Plainville.
Again, for the record, Robert Schumacher, 1109 Round Swamp Road, Old Bethpage. I'd like to pass up some photos and consent letters for the board. Representing Mr. and Mrs. Brenner of 85 Elmwood Street in Plainview. Mr. and Mrs. Brenner are seeking a variance to maintain a front roof over porch having less average front side yard setback. Also to allow a second-story addition having less rear yard setback than required, exceeding the permitted lot coverage and gross floor area, to maintain a fence having greater height than required, and to maintain a driveway having less side yard setback than required, and to amend decision 63-185. This property is on the corner of Elmwood Street and Amby Avenue. As with many corner properties, any type of improvements are difficult without a variance. I've taken many photos for the board from different directions, showing the fence does not pose interference with traffic from either direction. This intersection is also controlled by a stop sign. The abutting neighbor on Amby Avenue, their driveway is away from the homeowner's property. There are many other houses on corners in this area that have similar fences, such as the Brenners. The front open porch is an attractive addition. If this variance was granted, the homeowner was conditioned not to further enclose the porch. And again, there are also other homes in the immediate area that have similar open porches. The driveway is maintaining a 2-foot side yard setback where 8 feet is required. There are many other driveways in this area that are similar. This driveway is not out of character with this neighborhood. The present lot coverage is 27.4%, where 25% is the maximum. The open porch, which is not living space, is also counted into this. The gross floor area is only over by 21 square feet. The addition is over the garage. For zoning purposes, this is considered the rear yard because it's a corner property. The addition is maintaining a rear yard setback of 18.1 feet, where 25 feet is required, as this is considered a rear yard. This addition was here when the homeowners purchased the property, and there was a prior variance on this property in 1963. The homeowners' consent letters from the two neighbors directly across the street at 88 and 84 Elmwood Street, and also the abutting neighbor next to the driveway at 89 Elmwood Street. There's never been any complaints or violations from the town on this property, and as the photos show, the house is in excellent condition.
Just what always troubles me is everything is existing, it's not your fault. You're representing your client to the best of your ability, but what prompted them to suddenly come
I think they're selling the house.
sell the house?
They're selling the house.
Selling.
I did have 4 proposed cases tonight. I know you like that.
That's true. We're going to mark that down, Mr.
Yes.
Schumacher.
That's the limit.
Any other questions from the board?
None.
Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office in 2 weeks.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Next is hearing number 21, Appeal 21-108, Adam Ross at 244 Forest Drive in Jericho.
Ken Schulman, 209 Lynn Avenue, East Northport. We are proposing a one-story addition and deck which will have a rear yard setback of 14.8 feet where 25 feet is required and a lot coverage of 26% where 20% is required. The addition will bump back the rear of the house only 7 feet for an additional 166 square foot addition. We'll be expanding the existing kitchen and dining room, which over the course of the last year, the Rosses realized was just not large enough to also serve as a home office area and a place for their children to attend school online. The Rosses would also like to add a rear deck that will only be 10 feet in depth so that when the weather is nice, they can enjoy meals and entertain outside. I believe these variances are not substantial and are keeping with the character of the neighborhood since similar variances to the ones we are requesting have been granted in the area previously. The property directly behind the Rosses was approved a rear yard of 15.5 feet and a lot coverage of 26.6% for a proposed deck under decision 04-571. And the property at 208 Forest Drive was granted a lot coverage of 27% for a proposed addition under decision 04-161. I do have copies of these decisions as well as consents from 2 of the neighbors. One, the most affected property at 240 Forest Drive.
What was the address of the rear neighbor?
195 Maytime?
And you said they received a variance?
Yes, just for a larger deck, and that has a rear yard that was 15.5 feet and a lot coverage of 26.6%. Yeah, so very
Because
similar.
I have correspondence from them, and they have concerns about privacy. Their property is lower, they said, the grade is lower, and they are concerned, is this a split-level house?
Yes.
So the height of the deck is 5 feet, maybe?
No, it's 4 feet.
It's 4 feet.
Yeah. The other house has, like I said, was granted a similar variance, so I don't know what their complaint could be.
Well, it's not a complaint, it's a concern
Yeah.
of privacy.
My clients have been living with their deck for quite a while.
All right, well, I just wanted to put it on the record that they do have a concern about the height of the deck and a privacy screen.
The house at 240 Forest Drive that did sign the consent has a similar deck too, at the same height, so it's typical of the area.
Okay. Questions or concerns from the board?
Funny, I drove by and I literally, what I wrote on my paper was, I'm okay if neighbors are okay. And it sounds like neighbors are not okay.
It's just the one in the rear who has a similar variance.
But they have a similar variance, so that's it.
Yeah. Okay, correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. Decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office. We will keep the record open for 2 weeks.
Thank you.
Okay? Thank you.
You can take that letter.
Yeah, what'd I do with it?
With the back door, the neighbors, that their name is.
This is it.
F-L-A-K-O. Is that what people?
Yep.
Next is hearing number 23, Appeal 21-110. Rebecca and Joshua Bloomgarden at 6 Split Rock Road in Syosset.
Officer Truth during these proceedings.
I do. Bernard Rogers, architect. My office is located at 2150 Wantagh Park Drive, Wantagh, New York, 11793. Good evening, Madam Chairperson, members of the board. I'm here this evening representing my clients, Rebecca and Joshua Bloomgarden, the owners of 6 Split Rock Lane, Syosset, New York, 11791, zoned R1-1A by the town of Oyster Bay. My clients are proposing to build a 1-story addition and a 2nd-story addition with patio below. The 1-story addition that we are proposing would have a rear yard setback of 42 feet where 100 feet is required, and the proposed 2nd story with patio below would have a rear setback of 63.7 feet where 100 feet is required. The 1-story addition is an addition that is built off of the west side of a previous addition that was built in 1989. This previous addition was built as a result of a BZA decision number 89-426, dated September 20th, 1989, which granted a rear setback of 38 feet. I'd like to submit a copy of the decision to the board at this time. I'd like to note, as you can see on our submitted site plan and our architectural plans, that our proposals are being added to the west side of the property. The rear yard of this property is actually to the south. Our proposal would be a direct continuance of the existing rear building line of the house, that as a result of the rear property line not being parallel to the house, creates a 42-foot proposed setback, which is 4 feet greater than the original BZA decision dated 1989. We feel that if approved, our proposal would have no adverse effect on neighboring properties or the neighborhood in general. So in conclusion, I'd like to thank you very much for hearing our request.
I have some correspondence here from some neighbors who don't agree with that, sorry to say. And I'm going to read it into the record if that's okay. All right. My name is Mary Anderson. I am the owner, full-time resident of 74 Church Street, Syosset. I received notice of the applicant's request. I have reviewed the applicant's drawings and plans. My property shares the southern border of the applicant's property and is adversely affected by the proposed variance. And I am writing to ask that the applicant's request be denied. And this letter is similar to the other one that I received from a James Caliguri at 80 Church Street in Syosset. But back to Mary Anderson's letter. My residence was built in 1952. I purchased it in 1957. I've occupied the residence full-time with my family since its purchase. Our plot is less than 1/4 acre, and our residence is 1 story and under 1,200 square feet. The length of our northern plot line abuts the southern plot line of said applicant's property. When we moved into our residence, the applicant's residence was a 2-story home with an original footprint of 1,400 square feet. Approximately 35 years ago, the footprint of that residence was nearly doubled to the 2,770 square feet it is today. By encroaching towards the rear, which is the southern setback, that expansion reduced the southern setback from approximately 60 feet to now 40-foot setback from our abutting property lines. Upon information and belief, the applicant's property was purchased in 2018. The property is 1-acre home and is 2,770 square feet prior to the proposed addition. The applicant's residence is currently most closely oriented to its southern and western lines, already exceeding the zoning ordinance requiring a 100-foot setback. It has a current western setback of 60 feet and a current southern setback of 41 feet. The property of 6 Split Rock Lane has hundreds of feet of property to the north and east of the residence that allow for expansion, retaining the appropriate setback requirements without a variance. Instead, the proposed variance indicates a plan to increase the square footage of the home by over 1,420 square feet to a total of almost 4,200 square feet. Where was I? And move the footprint of the residence closer to the 2 nearest lot lines, the southern and western lot lines, reducing said setbacks to approximately 41 feet each. That's the letter. She goes on to submit some zoning information, which we all have. So if you could answer some of those concerns.
Of course. So I'd like to note we are within the lot coverage allowance. We're also within the gross floor area allowance.
Okay.
Again, our addition is not building any closer toward the property line that's adjoining those neighbors. It's running alongside of it. In other words, it's a direct continuance of it.
Okay.
We're not building any closer to the south. The portion closest to that neighbor is actually the 1-story portion of our proposal, not the 2-story proportion. The 2-story portion of it, is 20 feet further away from the neighbor.
Okay. All right. Any other questions from the board? Correspondence?
Nassau County Planning Commission recommends local determination.
Motion?
Decision.
Public portion of the hearing is closed. The record will remain open for 2 weeks, and decision of the board will be forwarded to you by our office.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Oh, these letters. What do I do? Oh. Here they are. Thank you.
There were no approvals on this, right?
Next is hearing number 24. Appeal 21-111, Danielle Riggio at 189 Jackson Avenue, Syosset.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board. For the applicant, Tom Abadi, I'm an attorney with offices at 88 Sunnyside Boulevard in Plainview, And this application seeks to procure a variance to effectuate a two-lot subdivision in my hometown of Syosset. And I said a variance, singular, because that's all we need. And that variance only concerns where the driveway will meet the roadway. That's it. In all other respects, our proposed parcel conforms with the code. We meet the minimum lot area, we meet the lot width and setback, we meet all the required front, rear, and side yard setbacks. We don't need a height variance. We're below maximum lot coverage. We even have the minimum setbacks for the driveway itself. You know, we're anomalous here in the town of Oyster Bay. I know they say this all the time, but we're one of the very few, the only, to me, that I know of, jurisdiction that treats driveways like structures. We have to treat them with a side yard setback. We meet that. What don't we meet? We don't have the roadway frontage. That's it. But, as you're going to see from the details of our proposal, as well as the character of the area itself, this fits perfectly in the neighborhood. And the neighborhood is this. It's on Jackson Avenue. Jackson Avenue is the main drag in Syosset. So if you're coming from Jericho Turnpike and you're proceeding northward to the tracks, roughly halfway down, you run into St. Edwards. That would be on the right-hand side, the east side. So sequentially, you've got St. Edwards Catholic Church and School, Tybrook Avenue, which is the post office address of St. Ed's, a recharge basin, and then our property. And our property is what we call in zoning parlance a through lot. A through lot means it's got roadway frontage in the front and in the rear. Now, in zoning, we don't like through lots. And common sense dictates, who would want a driveway in the front yard and a rear yard? And I'll get into that little detail later on. The lot is also wildly oversized for the zone. It possesses over 18,000 square feet in the R17, which, as we all know, allows single-family dwellings on not less than 7,000 square feet of lot area. So we are 2.5 times the size of what's otherwise required. So our proposal, I told you, is a two-lot subdivision. This is like the Irfan case that I brought in Convent in Syosset a couple of weeks ago. One lot completely conforms with the code. That's the one fronting on Jackson, our front yard. It's only the one that fronts in Corinne in the rear that needs the variance. Now, I have an exhibit for each of you and one on the record. The first 3 pages are a series of 10 photographs, and the last one is a portion of our plot plan, which I've augmented. And Ms. Alicia, when I do these augmented plans, I think of you, because I know you like my artwork on the Irfan case.
You're just jealous because I commented on Mr. Schumacher's pictures last meeting.
I'm just jealous of Mr. Schumacher.
We all are.
He takes good pictures.
So you can orient yourselves with the area based on those photographs, and you see from the last page the lot that conforms in Jackson and the one variance that we need for Corinne. But if you look at that last page, after subdivision, the lot that needs the one variance will exceed the minimum front yard setback variance by nearly, minimum front yard setback required by nearly 4 feet. In the R17, we're supposed to hold side yards of 8 and 12. We're holding 10 and 25. So this house is not going to be any closer than if this lot conformed to the code. In fact, it'll be farther away from the houses. Most dramatically, Madam Chairman and members of the board, after subdivision, this will still be the single largest lot on Corinne Court. It will have 10,400 square feet of lot area. And if you look at our radius map, abutting us, going east sequentially, we've got lots of 7,000 square feet, 7,000 square feet, and 7,000 square feet. Across the street, we have a lot of 7,800 square feet, and then 7,000 square feet. And then if you go abutting us on the west and running north, lots of 8,000, 7,000, and 7,000. So that shows objectively that this still will be the biggest lot on Corinne Court, and that in itself, I posit, mitigates in favor of the relief. But it doesn't end there. All you have to do is look at Corinne Court, the current development of Corinne Court, and you'll see that the exact same condition already exists. I'm going to hand up one more exhibit, more artwork, Ms. Alicia. And one is part of the radius map that I augmented, and the other one is a photograph. And what they both show you is that at the end of Corinne Court, there is a house, an existing house, that also has less roadway frontage, and indeed, it has less roadway frontage than that which we're proposing tonight. All right, so you see my artwork, and you see how that mirrors exactly what we're proposing. But if you look at the photograph, you're going to see something that house has that we don't have. It's the house in the middle. That's the one with the deficient road frontage. You see how that house is angled to fit within the subdivision? If you look at our plot plan, our house isn't going to be angled. Our house is going to squarely look at Corinne Court, just like all of the other houses, but for the deficient one that exists in the neighborhood, precisely as you would want a house to be oriented. So we are not following their lead and trying to squeeze this in. We don't have to squeeze it in because we have the biggest parcel. Curiously, there were, as we all know, emails in opposition. The most strident opponent was the owner of that deficient lot. Now, that doesn't mean they don't have the right to voice their concerns. They do. And I wish to address what they wrote in their letter, because it was echoed by most of the neighbors, and it was what you discussed in the Schumacher and the St. Pius subdivision case, construction vehicles. They all talk about construction vehicles. We don't want the trucks. It's unsafe. It's going to be congestion, and that's never a pleasant scenario. And I'm not going to rely on that which you admonished Mr. Schumacher or those who are interested in his case, that there are regulations, because I am going to say to you, and we will accept as a condition, we will never have a truck in Corinne Court. Why? Because this is a through lot. We can come in off of Jackson.